Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and I hope that 2024 has been very kind to you all so far. Now, yesterday on the channel, on New Year's Day, we did a puzzle by the great Phistomefel, a sort of lost puzzle that for some reason we hadn't done before. Now, the puzzle on the screen, which the eagle-eyed amongst you will realise is a fog of war sudoku, invokes the name of Phistomefel in the rules. It refers to the Phistomefel Ring. Don't worry if you don't know what the Phistomefel Ring is. The rules do explain it. And this puzzle is by Potato Head 21. And it's quite interesting, actually. It's been recommended to us a couple of times, this one. And we're big fans of Fog of War Sudoku, so we're always interested to hear when fog puzzles get recommended. But it only had something like a 70% rating on Logic Masters. Normally, to get a puzzle on the channel, you have to be 95% plus. But one of the testers looked at this and said they think it's a really, really lovely idea. So that is why I'm going to be attempting it for you in today's video, and I'll read you these unusual rules in a moment or two's time. Just a quick note, in case you're new to Fog of War Sudoku, you may be saying, well, how do you do anything in a grid like this? The idea is that we use the instructions of the puzzle, we deduce something about digits in the puzzle, which is very difficult when you can't see any digits, but let's say we worked out what this number was. When we put that number in the grid, if it's correct, it will clear the fog from all of the surrounding cells. So if you know what that number is, you'll actually reveal the fog around in all of those cells as well as the number itself. Now, the idea of Fog of War Sudoku is not to guess. There is no need to guess. You can guess if you want, but it will ruin the experience of the puzzle. So it's a really interesting idea. Massively, I think it's a perfect way of marrying computer solving with Sudoku. And it's called Smoggy Knight, this one, presumably because there is an excess of fog in the grid. Anyway, I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time. What do I have to tell you about first? We have our brand new competition running on Patreon. So if you're a patron of the channel, get yourselves over there and have a look at all the fun of the fair. Lots of puzzles themed around fairground rides. We did... loads of you managed to solve it without needing to know something, but we did release a small update yesterday just to clarify something. So if you should have got an email notifying you about that anyway. So do make sure you have the up-to-date version for the best way, or to give yourselves the best chance of getting to the final answer. Other than that, what else have we got going on Patreon? Oh, yes, we're going to be releasing soon my solve of a puzzle called Coaster Nurikabe by the Cogito. I should actually upload that to the screen so I could show you it. It's mad, absolutely mad. One of those puzzles that it's not really clear how it can possibly exist when you see it. It's almost worse than this. All the clues are just question marks. Anyway, that takes me a long time to solve. So if you're fond of the really monstrously difficult, brain-busting puzzles, that might be for you. And that's going to go on Patreon soon. Other than that, I've got some birthdays today. Let me start by wishing John a very happy 30th birthday from your girlfriend Georgia over there in Delaware. I think actually, John, it's your birthday tomorrow, but I understand you're out adventuring tomorrow. That sounds good. And John is a historian specialising in the American Civil War. And I don't think you're as big a fan of the channel as Georgia is, but you know the secret from sort of watching it vicariously. And therefore, I suppose technically you are one of my favourite people. So, John, many happy returns. I hope tomorrow is a great day. And I hope you get some chocolate cake even whilst you're adventuring. I don't know where you're adventuring, but it sounds fun. Next, John Smith. Apparently that is your real name. Now, there may be a number of John Smiths watching, but I'm looking for the one whose fiancée is Abigail. Anyway, John, if you're that John Smith, I want to wish you many happy returns. I'm not sure how old you are today, but I understand you probably do like the crossword videos the most because you like getting the cryptic clues before I do. So John, happy birthday, and I hope you have a great day today. And then last but not least, I'm going to give a shout out to Luis. It could be Luis. I'm going to say Luis, actually. Probably is Luis, over there in Berlin. Could be Louis as well. No, Luis, I'm going to say. Who found us originally with the Miracle Sudoku and still associates the channel with Christmas, which is lovely. But Luis, I did really appreciate your email, so thank you for writing such kind words to us. We really do appreciate getting emails like that. So I wanted to say a public thank you. Now, let's have a look at Smoggy Knight by PotatoHead21, who I think goes by a different name on the Discord server. I want to say something like, the Sonic, it's not the Sonic the Hedgehog, it's the Sonic, it might be the Sonic person. I'm not sure, but it's the PotatoHead21, very well known in the Sudoku community. And in fact, the PhD student who did the analysis to work out who is the hardest setter in the world of Sudoku, discovered that statistically it is provable that it is PotatoHead21, which I hadn't remembered that, but that is a slightly daunting thought. I only just remembered it as I was thinking about Potato Head's name. So this could be very hard. But anyway, these are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. The grid is covered with fog. Placing a correct digit will clear the fog from the surrounding cells. We've already talked about that. Oh, cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digits. So imagine we knew what that cell was. Then whatever this digit is, it could not go in any cells that were a knight's move away from the central cell. So we could, I mean, obviously, whatever this digit is couldn't appear in its own column or row or box already, but additionally none of these yellow cells could be this green cell, and that applies everywhere. So this cell can't be the same as that cell, etc. Cells separated by an X contain digits summing to 10. Well, that's all very well, but we can't see under the fog. But what it means is that, say there was an X joining these two cells, these would have to be digits adding to 10. So they could be 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, or 4, 6. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. Digits cannot repeat within a cage, so we can't see any cages, but killer Sudoku rules is basically what that's saying. A cell with a grey circle must contain an odd digit. Right, so there's going to be some odd cells under the fog. A cell with a grey square must contain an even digit. Cells separated by a white dot contain consecutive digits. Goodness me, there's a few things going on here. So there's X's, right, and then there's dots. So if these two cells had a white dot between them, then these two cells would contain consecutive digits. Cells separated by a black dot contain digits in a 1 to 2 ratio, i.e. one digit will be double the other. So imagine this had a black dot between it. Then if this was a 2, this would either be 4, because 4 is double 2, or it would be 1, because 2 is double 1. But basically, these would be in a 1 to 2 ratio. Right, and here's what I think is the really fascinating rule about this puzzle. It says, the ring of 16 cells touching the central 3x3 box, either orthogonally or diagonally. I might have to clarify that, actually, because as I read that, I mean, it goes on to say sometimes called the Phistomefel Ring, and I know that that is the Phistomefel Ring. Contains digits summing to 109. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should put the ring of 16 cells on the outside of the central 3, touching and outside the central. Otherwise, you might think that that was one of them. I don't know. Maybe it is clear. But basically, these squares are sometimes called the Phistomefel Ring. And all we're told about the puzzle is that those sum to 109. And from that, and the other rules, we have to solve the puzzle. So we can logically deduce something about this puzzle just from that, which is fascinating. And I have an idea how we might start this, principally because the name of the constructor is PotatoHead21, but do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play let's get cracking. Now, why am I interested in the name of the constructor? Well, that is because I associate the name Potato Head 21 with a theorem that I believe they discovered, which was an extension of the Phistomefel theorem. So we're going to have to do some sudoku theory, I think, to start this puzzle. Well, I'm just thinking, if I make the assumption about the theorem at the start, I'm wondering whether to try and prove that the theorem is useful before I sort of show the theory behind the theorem. Yeah, I might do that. Because if this turns out not to be important, then I'm going to waste a lot of everybody's time. Yeah, okay. So there is a theorem. There are two theorems that we have to get our heads around that I think might be relevant here. The first is the basic Phistomefel theorem, which is that these squares, these 16 cells that we've highlighted in the ring, we know in this puzzle they sum to 109. They are also the identical digits to the 4 2x2s that you find in the corner of the Sudoku. And that is true for any Sudoku, which is really rather beautiful and interesting. And if we need to, and I suspect we will, I will prove why that is the case. So that's the first thing I know. Now, Potato Head 21 took that theory and noted something very fascinating, no jokes, about it. In the context of a puzzle, a Sudoku puzzle that had a knight's move constraint. I think it also applies when there's a diagonal constraint, but this puzzle, obviously, we've got a knight's move constraint going on. And that extension of the theorem states that if you have a Sudoku with a knight's move constraint, every single digit of the digits 1 to 9 must appear in the Phistomefel ring, except for one digit. So you can't miss 2 digits out. You could have all 9 appearing in the ring, but if there are any digits that don't appear, so say 8 didn't appear in the Phistomefel ring, that digit would have to go in the middle of the puzzle. And that is why you can't have 2 digits missing, because if you had 2 digits missing, say 8 and 7, that square would simultaneously have to be 8 and 7. Now, that feels to me like it must be relevant in this puzzle, where we're told that the sum of these digits is 109. So what's the maximum? Well, let's work out the maximum without recourse to that theorem, because the maximum is going to be something like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 there. So that's 2 lots of 35, that's 70. And then could we do 7, 8, 9s there? Yeah, and these would then be 5. So these would be 5s and 6s. So something like this, I think, is the... Yeah, I don't see why that's not, in theory, possible. Or from a straightforward Sudoku perspective. Now, what does all this add up to? Well, we have 35 plus 2 lots of 24, which is 48, 71, 118. So we've got 118 is the maximum that we could put in the ring if we didn't know Potato Head's theorem. But we do know Potato Head's theorem. And that tells us that this is not a valid arrangement in a knight's move puzzle, because we need to include all of the digits other than one of the digits. Now, the interesting thing is 118 and 109 are not that far apart. So clearly we are in a world where we have to make these very, very large. So if we were to miss out 1, so let's say that the ring didn't have 1 in it, then that's interesting. So then that is going to give rise to the technical maximum, isn't it? Because we could have, if we include all the digits in the ring, then obviously we have to include a 1 somewhere in there. So the very maximum we could achieve, knowing Potato Head's theorem, which is that we can only miss out 1 digit from the ring, is to put 1 in the middle and then reduce this maximum, which is 118, to 109. Because we have to introduce 2s, 3s and 4s into this ring. So what's the most we can keep this total as? We could have, so we've got to have, well, we want to have as many 8s and 9s as we possibly can, don't we? Can we, we can't, yeah, okay, here's the problem. We can't have 4 7s. We could have 4 9s and 4 8s, but we can't also have 4 7s. Because if we have 4 7s, we're only left with these 4 digits left to play with. But we've got to cater for the digits 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2, and there are 5 of those digits. Bobbins. Right, so what the best we're going to do is to have 4 9s. It's going to be something like this, I think. Let's look at these squares first. What I want to do is to have as many 8s, 9s and 7s in the grid as I can. And I don't know if it's clear, but obviously if I was to put 9 here, for example, I'm reducing the maximum number of 9s that I can put around the ring. Because if this is a 9, I can't put 9s in any of those squares. So I'd only be able to put some 9s here, some 9s here. So the max, if you put a digit in the corner of the ring, you can only put 3 of that digit in the ring. So I want to put 4 9s, I want to put 4 8s. I can't put 4 7s in because I only have 4 different digits left over and I need 5 different digits. But I could put 3 7s in. So let's reduce that 7 to a 6. So now I've put 4 9s, 4 8s, 3 7s, a 6, but I've still got to put 5, 4, 3 and 2 into the grid, so something like that. That, I think, is going to be the technical maximum. Now, what I haven't got a clue about is what that adds up to. Hopefully something close to 109. So what have we got now? We've got 24 3 times this time, which is 72. Plus 14 from 2, 3, 4 and 5, which is 86. Plus 23 is 109. Right, perfect. So this is, okay, this is a very long-winded way of saying that what Potato Head has done here is to construct around this ring a technical maximum. I mean, we don't know, obviously, how this ordering is going to occur. I don't think it's valid, for example, to say that you have to put 2, 3, 4 and 5 into the corners. You might be able, because you only have 3 7s, you might be able to put a 7 in the corner of this ring, or a 6. But this collection of digits, it is these 16 digits that must be used, and what that's going to mean, of course, is by the theorem this square is a 1, so I think that's going to be our first digit. So let's see if this is right, and if it is right, we'll prove the theorems. Yes, right. This is lovely. This is very, very interesting. So let's go back. Okay, so now I'm just going to give you a quick, if you're used to these proofs, forgive me, but not everybody who watches these videos has seen all of this stuff before, and for some people it will be it will be really interesting. So let's start off with the proof of the basic ring. So the way to prove the basic ring is to highlight some cells in the grid. Let's highlight those squares in purple. Now, we know exactly what those 36 cells contain as a whole, because this is 4 complete units of Sudoku. That is a complete row. That is a second complete row. So these 2 rows contain the digits 1 to 9 once each. This is a complete box, and this is a complete box. Again, a whole box of Sudoku will contain the digits 1 to 9 each by rule of Sudoku. So these 2 rows and 2 boxes are 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. We don't know how those digits are disposed within the purple cells, but we know collectively altogether they are 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So let me highlight a different. I'm going to highlight 4 complete columns of the grid. Horrible colour. I'm not excelling with the colour choices here. I'm going to restore my purple and pick a better colour for the columns. What shall I go with? I'm actually thinking maybe I'd be better off. Let's just go green. Yeah, we can see that. I can see that. That's fine. So these complete columns, that's 4 complete columns. That's 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, isn't it? So the purple set and the green set of digits are the same. The collective digits within both of these coloured sets are the same digits. So imagine that we take out the contents of this cell from the purple set and from the green set. You can see it's in the purple set and it's in the green set. So if I take that cell's contents out of both sets, what can we then say about what's left in purple and what's left in green? Well, we no longer know exactly what the composition is of the purple set and the green set, because we've taken out a digit that we don't know. We don't know what this digit is. But because we've taken it, because those 2 sets had the same things in them before we took anything out of them, and we've just taken the same thing out of them, which is this cell, the remaining digits in purple and the remaining digits in green must still be the same. That's the critical point. The remaining digits in purple and green are still the same. And we can do that for all the cells that are in both sets. I can take them out, and the remaining digits in purple are the same as the remaining digits in green. And that is the proof of the basic Phistomefel ring. Isn't that beautiful? Now we have to extend this to think about what Potato Head proved. And what Potato Head said is, okay, let's imagine in a Sudoku with a Knight's move constraint that there was a digit that didn't appear in the Phistomefel ring. Where would that digit then go? What could we tell about that digit in the puzzle? And here we know that there's such a digit. It's the digit 1 and it goes there. So that's what we're expecting to be able to prove, is that any digit that's not in the Phistomefel ring must go here. Now, I haven't proved this for a while, so I have to remember how this works. I think the first, right, so we know the basic Phistomefel principle is true. So we can ask where, if there was a digit that didn't go in the ring, where would it go in box 1? And the answer is, it would have to go in one of those 4 squares, wouldn't it? Because it's not in the ring, so it's not in purple, and it's not therefore in green by the process that we know green and purple are the same digits. So it's somewhere in blue, and that extends for each of the boxes. The digit, or any digit that is not in the Phistomefel ring, must be in blue in each of these boxes. And then you can appreciate something quite cool about how there's going to be a cycle of such a digit. So imagine that such a digit was in this domino rather than this domino of box 1. If it's in this domino, where is it in box 3? Well, because it's in blue, it's got to be in that domino. Where is it in box 9? It's got to be in that domino. Where is it in box 7? It's got to be in that domino. So one arrangement of any digit that's not in the Phistomefel ring is that it will be in the yellow squares, and one arrangement is that it will be in the blue squares. But the cool thing about this is it doesn't matter for the purposes of what we're about to prove. So let's just imagine it's in the blue squares. What can we then say about where that digit is in box 2 here? Now, because of the Knights move constraint, the blue digit can't go in these 2 squares, because if blue was here, it rules itself out of both of those squares because of the Knights move constraint. So blue can't be here. So blue is going to be in one of those 4 squares in box 2. It's going to be in one of these 4 squares in box 6. It's going to be in one of these 4 squares in box 8, because this blue takes out these 2. And it's going to be in one of those squares in box 4. And then, because we know that this digit, this blue digit, is not in purple, we can look at the central column of the grid and the central row of the grid and say, where is the blue digit? Well, it's not in these squares and it's not in these squares, so it's in one of those 3 in the central column. And yet in the central row, it also simultaneously needs to be in one of these 3. And the only cell that meets that criteria is, you've guessed it, the very central cell of the grid. So it's a beautiful idea, this. It really is. And we can then note that because we've proved, and that obviously the logic is completely symmetrical. If we change this and did yellow, you can't put yellow in here. 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 So if we had the yellow arrangement of the digit that wasn't in the Phistomefel ring, the proof would run absolutely identically. So we've proved that any digit that's not in the Phistomefel ring in a Knights move Sudoku goes in the central square. Well, because we can't put 2 digits simultaneously in the central square, there can only be one such digit. And that's basically done it, hasn't it? We've now proved everything we needed to know. So we know that the central digit in this puzzle is a 1. We now can do some thinking about whatever that means in this middle box which we've revealed. We also know from our logic that we did before that we've got to be a bit careful with what we're going to put in the ring. Because we had to have 4 9s, didn't we? So there has to be a 9. We can't have 9s in the corners. So we've got to have a 9, 9, 9, 9. We've got 4 9s in those, 4 8s in these. 7s are more difficult because we've only got 3 7s. Just wondering if that means I can do a pencil. I'm not sure I can, actually. We've got 3 7s. 1 6, 1 5, 1 4, 1 3, 1 2. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to do that. But we can presumably do something now with maybe this cage, 27 cage. So this cage goes at least to here and at least to here. And, well, okay. No, that's exactly how far it goes. That is a cage in this puzzle, and that comes from knowing the triangular number for 7. So if you know what 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 is, you will know that this cage is only 6 cells large, because if it was 7 cells large, because you can't repeat a digit in the cage, the minimum it could contain would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 add up to 28, which looks very deliberate from Potato Head. So this is telling us that we've got a 6-cell cage here. I'm wondering if we have to use the secret on this. Now the secret is something I tell only my very favourite people. Did we do the secret yesterday? No, we didn't. We definitely didn't. So I've not told anyone the secret in 2024. Well, don't worry. I'm going to tell you the secret. The secret is that any complete row of a Sudoku, any complete column, and any complete box, by the rules of Sudoku, contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. Those digits add to 45. So I know that if we had a 9-cell killer cage, that couldn't have a repeated digit in it, so it would contain all the Sudoku digits, and the number in the top left corner of the cage, this little clue here, would be a 45. This clue is 27. So what we're actually learning here is that the 3 digits that are not in this cage, because it's only a 6-cell cage, add up to 45 minus 27, which is 18. That's not useful at all. Sorry. That means that this cage does have one of 8 and 9 in at least. It can't be missing both 8 and 9. Because if the 8s and 9s were not in this cage at all, then they would be 2 of the 3 digits that are missing from the cage. And what would the other digit be? Well, given that we know the 3 digits missing from the cage add up to 18, it would be 8, 9 and 1. Because 8 and 9 add up to 17, but 1 is definitely in the cage, so that's not right. So at least one of these is an 8 or a 9. Come on. I don't know actually. Sorry, I'm not immediately getting this. We could. I don't think it's the. Actually, I probably shouldn't say what I don't think it is in case it is that. I mean, I can see if that's an 8 or a 9. It's certainly very constraining on where that. So imagine this is an 8 or a 9. Let's just put 8 or 9 in here. If this, we know at least one of these wings is an 8 or a 9. So let's just say it's this one. Then where does this digit go in this box? I can see that green, by the knight's move, can't go there or there anymore. So there's going to be a green in one of these and a green in one of these. And that means that green in the central box now, because I mean, if you think about a row of the Sudoku and ask how many of the green digit there are in a complete row of the Sudoku, there is one green digit, isn't there? So there is one green digit in row 5 and one green digit in row 4. So that's 2 green digits altogether. Well, I know there's a green digit in this domino, and I know there's a green digit in this domino. So that is the 2 green digits for row 4 and row 5 combined. I can't add any more greens in here. That would be 3 green digits in 2 rows of the Sudoku, which is clearly going to break the rules of Sudoku. So green, right, so green is going to go there, actually. Because green can't, because the fact that we can't put a green digit in there or there by Sudoku, or in its own cage again by Sudoku, means that that would be green. Oh, okay. And then by knight's move, that means that can't be green, which means that can't be green, which means that's. So we actually do. That's really weird. Okay, so if that's green, you can place. Or if that is 8 or, what I mean is, if that is 8 or 9, you can actually place that digit everywhere in this sort of set, or well, everywhere in the ring. Sorry, I'm still not seeing quite what that does. So if you did that, then the other of 8 or 9 that is not green is either in the wing of this cage or it's there. So if it wasn't in the wing of the cage, it would be there and there and there and there. Good grief. Right, that doesn't work. Now, is that logic reversible by symmetry? I think it is. This is very clever. This is just very clever. Right. It's quite difficult to see this, but what I've now, I think, proved in my brain at least, I'm going to try and prove it to you guys too, is that if this is an 8 or a 9, the other of 8 and 9, whatever green isn't, so say green was 8, then the 9 actually has to go there. in the other wing of this cage. And the reason is let's try and not put the other digit in this position. Well then, because we know that that digit then has to go there in this column, because we know that there must be what I'm going to call a blue digit in this column. If we're saying it's not here, it's got to go there. And that means, look, in this string, it's got to go there. And now in this string, where it's got to appear, it's not a knight's move away from itself, so it's got to go here. And now in this string, it can't go here, so it has to go here. And this arrangement of blue digits does not work, because there's now nowhere to put whatever it is, whatever blue is, 8 or 9, in the middle box. By sudoku, it's ruled out of everywhere, and by knight's move, it's even ruled out of the middle. So this cannot work. So actually, if this is an 8 or a 9, that is an 8 or a 9. And I think the interesting thing about this is, I'm not certain about this, but I'm going to allege it and then we'll try and prove it. I think that because I didn't use the geometry of the 11 cage in any way, and because the grid is sort of rotationally, I mean, that the logic we're doing there, I don't feel it's going to change if I start from this position. Surely if I start in this position, I'm just going to get whatever. If I say that if this is the 8 or 9 that we know must exist in one of these positions, where is this digit now in the middle box? Well, because one of those and one of these has to be green, it's got to be here because it can't repeat in its cage. That determines it can't be a knight's move away from itself, so it's there, which means it's got to be there, which means it's not here. And then in this sequence, it's got to be here. So it's the same logic we've done. And now if we try and claim that this isn't blue, so we make that blue, then that will be blue, that will be blue, and that will be blue. And again, we can't put it in the middle box. That's very clever stuff, actually. It's really, really weird and interesting. So in fact, what this means is that these squares are an 8-9 pair, and they're obviously different. So we'll make one of them green, or we'll make one of them blue. And so we ought to, I think they have to be a pair in those two positions, don't they? In this box now. This one, yeah, in fact, where does this one appear in there? It's got to be here now, which means it's got to be here. And then by knight's move, it's got to be there. And then in the middle box, it's got to be there. That's what I was expecting, so that's good. And then this one is going to be here, I'm certain. Yeah, it's got to be there, it's got to be there, it's got to be here, and therefore in the middle box, it's got to be there. Right, so this is an 8-9 pair. All of these coloured digits now are 8s and 9s. Let's fill them all in. We can get rid of all of the 8s and 9s corner marks everywhere, like that. In the 27 cage, we've got 18's worth of... Oh, wow. Okay, we've got 18's worth of digits. Oh, this is huge. This is going to give me this digit. Right, watch this. Okay, because we've got 18's worth of digits and 3 more digits to come that have to add up to 9 without using a 1, they have to be a 2, 3, 4 triple. And if they're a 2, 3, 4 triple, how do we fill the 11 cage? Well, not with 2, 9, 3, 8 or 4, 7, let me tell you. So that's got to be a 5, 6, and that square is a beautiful... Oh no! You rotten thing. You rotten thing. So we got the digit and it did nothing. Okay, but we have to put 3 7s in the ring, don't we? And that 7 has just removed a lot of possible cells. Yes, I see. Okay, so we have to put... Remember, we've got to put 3 7s in the ring. Well, now, unless my eyes are deceiving me, the cells that we can put the 3 7s in are exactly those cells. So if I didn't put one here, I'd only have 2... I've only got 2 rows covered by purple, so I can't put 3 7s in 2 rows, so I think that's a 7. Oh, no. Well, it is a 7, but it doesn't do anything. Well, same token, that's a 7. I've still got 2 more 7s to put around the ring, so that's a 7. We need some... right. Okay. So there's a 7... Right, there's a 7 in one more purple. One of these is a 7. But look, I've got a black dot with an 8 or a 9 on it. You can't put 9 on a black dot in Sudoku because this digit would be either 18, not a valid Sudoku, or not valid Sudoku digits when combined in that form, or 4.5, also not allowed. So that's going to be an 8. Right. Well, if that's an 8, we've done blue. So all of these are 8s. Well, this is going to do, this is going to do everything. Look, all of the 8s go in, all of the 9s go in. That's a 4. That's going to be 3 or 5 to be consecutive with 4. That's going to be, well, that's quite interesting. That can't be 4 by Knight's move or 8, so that's 2 or 6. But let's just see. Oh no, I've seen something else that's easier. 4 is ruled out of both of these squares by this 4 using the Knight's move, jiggery pokery, so that's a 4. That digit is 3 or 7. It's odd because of the circle. It's not 9 or 1, and it can't be 5 because that would rule a 5 out of the 11 cage. So that's 3 or 7, I think. Let me just think about this for a second or two, or perhaps even 3. I haven't placed any 5s or 6s or 2s or 3s in the puzzle, so it's not going to be Knight's move to disambiguate the middle box at this point. Oh, sorry. No, this is fine. Okay. 8 in box 3. Where is it? And the answer is I don't know, but it's definitely not on a white dot. And that's very interesting because there is a property about consecutive numbers, and I apologise if this is totally and utterly obvious. Let's call it a knowledge bomb from Cracking the Cryptic. A consecutive pair of numbers always includes an odd digit and an even digit. Well, let's think about that then in the context of so this has got to have an even digit on it that's not 8. This has got to have an even digit on it that's not 8. So, and that's got to have an even digit on it that's not 8. Now there are only 3 Sudoku digits that are even, that are not 8, and those are the digits 2, 4 and 6. So 4, which can't go here because of the Knight's move constraint, must be on this white dot. So this is definitely got 4 on it, along with 3 or 5. Okay, so this one either has 2 or 6 on it. Still can't quite see how that works, actually. Sorry. No. 8 and 9 are always in the corners. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure that's actually worth pencil marking, but it follows, doesn't it, from the fact that we've got 4 8s and 4 9s in the Phistomefel Ring, and therefore we've got to have 4 8s and 4 9s in the 2x2s in the corners. So, because we can't put 2 8s in this box, this sort of thing, these pencil marks are, I think, valid. Okay, and maybe Knight's moves then help us, which I haven't thought about. No, oh, 9. 9 comes out of that one. They really don't, actually. No, okay. Sorry, this might have been available for a while as well. I just didn't think of it. But we've got 1 in the middle of the grid. 1 is not appearing in the Phistomefel Ring. What does that mean? 1 is not in the 2x2s in the corners. And if 1 isn't in the 2x2s in the corners, where is it in box 3? The answer is there. It's on this dot. with a consecutive digit to 1. So that's a 1-2 pair. This is a 6. Sorry, that's completely and utterly clear, isn't it? No, I thought I was going to do... I was going to do something. There's a cage that's emerged here, but I can't see what its total is, so I can't get these digits. I've got 3, 4, and 5 to put over here, though. Right, so that digit can't be 3 anymore, because if this is 3, you couldn't put 3 in row 3 anymore, so that's got to be 7, which doesn't help with the rest of this row. Hang on a minute, what's going on? Good grief, I mean, that's very mean. If this doesn't do anything, that's very mean. Oh, no, it's not. It's beautiful. It's completely and utterly beautiful. Remember what my purple notation meant. It meant these are the possible positions for 7s around the ring. That 7 now sees that purple, so that's not purple. That's got to be the final 7, and I got a black dot from that. Right. Oh, yeah, lovely. Okay, so this black dot hasn't got 4, 6, or 8 on it. So it must be a 1-2 pair. That's the only other form of black dot that's available. I wonder, actually. Okay. I'm going to try something else in a minute, but I've spotted something else first. Right, where are 1, 2, and 4 in row 7? Now, 1 and 2 clearly can't be in these squares, so 1 and 2 are over there. Where's 4? This 4 sees those 3 squares, so 4 is also over here. So this is a 1, 2, 4 triple, which means these squares are 3, 5, 6. So that digit is the same as that digit. Whatever this digit is, it must appear in one of these 3, but by the Knight's Move rule it couldn't be in these 2, so it's definitely here. Which is also proved, well, a bit by the fact this is a 6. Oh dear, hang on. I'm going to give those their own colour for a moment, just so that there's a 3 or a 5 in here. So these squares must be from 7, 8, and 9. Because we've effectively got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 within these 7 cells. We can never put 1. Oh, that's it. There we go. We can never put 1 in the Phistomefel Ring. I mean, that's what everything's been based upon. So that square's not 1, and it's not 4 by dint of Knight's Move. So that, I think, is a 2. That is a 2. There's another cage emerging here. So 2 is in this sequence of digits. Yes, and 2 only appeared once in the ring, didn't it, by our 109 maths. So that's the only appearance of 2 in a 2x2 in the corner. But we already knew that, I'm now seeing from what we've already got in the grid. Bother. This square, oh no, that's no use. 1 can't be in the ring, so 1 is in one of these 2 squares. Where is 2 in box 8? It can't be here because there's a 2 in one of those, and it can't be here because of the 2, 3 pair. So 2 is in one of those cells, so 2 is in one of these squares. Wow. I still don't know what to do. Is it? Oh, I know what it'll be. I've got to work out what I've got to put in the ring still. I've not. Oh, 3, 4, and 5. I've not put in the ring. So right. So these digits. This is 3, 4, or 5. One of these digits is a 4 now because we must put a 4 in one of these. So that's not a 4. So whatever this is, 3 or 5 has to appear in the ring in one of those 3 positions, and it can't appear in these positions. So that digit is the same as that digit, which is a red digit. That's ridiculous. So this digit is in one of those 2 squares and one of these 2 squares. I might just let me just continue highlighting my red digits in the hope that something clicks. We don't know whether... No, we don't. We don't know whether this is 5 or 3, do we? I'm sorry if this is obvious to you. It's just not quite obvious enough for me to understand it. This is a clever puzzle, though. I have to take my hat off to Potato Head 21. They always seem to come up with really interesting ideas, even when I was pretty sure, because of the nature of the setter, what was going on around the ring right at the start. But it still doesn't mean you can just solve the puzzle quickly. You still have to think quite hard. Okay, is it going to be to do with... I don't know. What are these digits in this corner down here? We must know what they are now. They are 4, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there's not 4 in those, is there? 7 comes out of that one. So this is just 8 or 9. Is that useful? Probably not. I'm not certain. 4 is in one of these 3 squares. Oh, 2. See, is that 2? Oh, that's quite good. Okay, that's a much easier win than I was expecting. I've got another white dot that's just appeared. And this 2-1 pair's done. Okay, that's good. 28 cage. I already knew this was a 20. I already knew that was 28. That's completely and utterly otiose. Okay, do we know? We know that we need an even digit on here again, don't we? So that's 4 or 6 this time. In fact, maybe it's simpler to look at this column. What could this digit be? 1, 3, or 4 by Sudoku. Well, it's not 1, because 1 would require 2 as its consecutive digit. So this is 3 or 4, which means 1 in column 4 is up here, look. So 1 is... so I can place 1. So where's 1 now in column 6? It's there. It did nothing. But what about the other digits? 4, 5, and 6. Yes, I'm definitely pencil marking that, because I can see 6 can come out of that top one. Can I get rid of anything useful from this one? Yes, I can get rid of 4. So 4 is up here now. Oh, we just need a knight's move to interrupt this sequence and we'll be fine. Okay. So this is... Oh, I see. Yes, okay. So remember we talked about... Yeah, hang on. How could this be an even digit now? It can't be even, because it can't be 2, it can't be 4. Well, it could be 6, but 6 is not consecutive with 3 or 4, so this can't be even. So this is even, this is 4. Sorry, that's totally obvious as well, isn't it? So that's 4. Right, that's great. That's 8, because it's even. And it seems to only be able to be 8. So 8, 9, 7 go into the grid. So we get a 7-9 pair at the very top here. Let's take 9 out of that one. Has that done? This square now is 3 or 5. Ah, okay. So that means I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple in column 3. I've not put 1, 6 and 7 in. That's 6 or 7. 1, 6 or 7 at the top. That's not 7 because of the Knights move. Come on, this must have done something good. What's happened as a result of all of these digits going in? Oh, yes. Okay, where's 8 in this little congregation? It's got to go there. Right, I'm going to get rid of these corner marks. 26. So we know the box overall adds up to... adds up to 45. So we've got 7 here, 33. These have to add up to 12, I think. They have to be a 7-5 pair. I can't think of another way of doing that with those digits available. So that's a 7-5 pair. We get a 1-6 pair at the top of the grid. Now that tells me what the digits in the corner are up here, which are going to be 2, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I see. So this is the box the 7 isn't in the corner. So the 7, oh yeah, which we could already have seen. Right. So if that's 1, 6, can I do something with that that's helpful? No. Okay, this is a 3, 4 pair. We know these digits are still the same, but I still don't seem to know. Oh yeah, yes I do. Look, 3 can't go down here anymore. So this must be 5 by, oh yeah, there we go. So that's 5. This is all 3s and 4s. We know this digit is the same as these digits. So that's 5. That's 5. This is 3 and 6. I now feel I'm doing this in a strange way, but never mind. 1, 3 up here as a pair. Can something reach in and tell me which of those is correct? There's definitely a 3 in one of these, definitely a 3 in one of these. Or is there some way that we can get a 6 or a 5 leaning into the central box? It's very oh, there we go, 5. There we go. This square here is a 5 by sudoku. So that's a 6. That's not the way round I wanted that to be. If that had been a 6, it would have done the 1, 6 at the top of column 3. We've got this square is 2 or 3 by dint of sudoku. And for our next trick, we will say, without fear of contradiction, that... I don't know. Oh, if that's 5, okay, we get something up. So we get a 3, 4 pair at the top of this column. I just need something to lean into one of these naughty dominoes and fix it for me. Okay, let's try row 8. 3, 5 and 6. So that is 3, 5 or 6. That is also 3, 5 or 6. Oh, I see. No, it's very easy. In fact, we don't need to pencil mark it. This 5 takes care of both of those. So that must be 5, which means this is 4. That's 6 at the top of the column. That's 4. That's 3. Beautiful. 29 cage here. Oh, right. Well, that's unhelpful. These cages, I think they're almost jokes. Who was it? We did a puzzle the other day, and I thought a Spartacus's puzzle I thought might have been set partly as a joke. This one has certain similarities in that these cages we're getting given only at the point where we know exactly what their contents are. 3 and 4 by the Knights move. That's 4. So this is a 4-1 pair now. We've got to put 1 into one of these 2 squares. What are these digits? They are 6, 3s and 9s. Can't see how to do that immediately, but I can see that's not 9. So this is 3 or 6. This is 3 or 6. I need to know what that is to resolve this. This is a 2-5 pair at the top of the column. That 5 sees that one. Okay, so that's 2, that's 5, that's 5, that's 8. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's great. Look, I've got an X between these two. So we can't put 7 there because this can't be 3. So that's got to be 9, 7, 1, 2. 1 can't go there by Knight's move, so that's 1, which means that's 1. We've only got one foggy cell left. And that digit can't be 7 or 8, so that's 2 or 9 in the corner. That's a 2-9 pair, so can we get... yes, the 7 does it. Okay, so that's 7. That's 8. And... I still haven't done the middle box somehow. Okay, what's going on in this column? This is a... oh, that's lovely. This can't be 3, because it would wipe out 3's ability to appear in the middle box. So that's got to be 6, 6, 3. These squares are a 2, 3 pair. It's unlikely as it seems. That still seems... ah, the 3 reaches into here. That's what does it. 2, 3, 2, 3. That square's now a 5, I think. Which means that's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 9. So this corner digit is a 3 or a 6. Are we going to get we could get a 3 in the corner. I'm not sure. This digit, is this a 3, 6 pair as well? Yes, it is, but there's a 3 here. That's good, isn't it? Isn't that going to give me my... That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. There we go. I think we finished it. It was a very, very cool puzzle. It's taken me an hour. How can an hour have gone past? Good grief. Oh, well, that is, in my opinion, one of the great joys of Sudoku solving, is when you look up from the puzzle. Let's actually just check it's right. It is right. Solve counter 1. Okay, not many people have done this apparently recently. It says 34 minutes. How can I have had an hour? Oh, I must have reset or something when I was doing all the theorems. Okay, but that is, yeah, it's just the ultimate credit, I think, to a Sudoku constructor, is when you look up and you see that time has just flown. It's just disappeared because you've been so like lost in the logic as I was. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful puzzle. It'd be interesting to know how quickly I could have done that if I didn't have to prove everything. I feel I could have done it relatively quickly because I would have got that digit, I think, quite fast. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure because I don't think it certainly was not obvious to me that they had to be an 8-9 pair. Yeah, no, it's not easy. It's not that easy, this. Because even if you get that, yeah, you've got the 7 thing going on. And I just find Knight's Moves puzzles to be relatively involved. You really do have to keep your eye on the ball to spot all the little implications. And this puzzle held its end up very well. It's really good. It's really good, and Potato Head is very difficult. We know that statistically. It's been proved by PhD students that these puzzles are hard. Anyway, let me know how you got on. I always enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.